How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the Black Metal Rebellion. I'm your host, Jesse Morgan, aka Slammerella, and today we have an unpackaging to do from a band that was featured in February's Metalhead box, and I'm talking about Split the Abyss from Ohio, USA. They had a CD like this, and it kind of arrived like that. So there was no disc, but once again, the band got a hold of me and told me that they would ship me a replacement for free. And because of the troubles, they would send me some free bonuses included in the package. So got the package here. You can hear there's some stuff in there. You can probably guess what maybe that noise is if you've gotten some like that in any of your packages before. Yeah, so this did come with a couple of goodies. Let's open up the main thing though that we were getting out of this. And that is a actual copy of Split the Abyss from the Terrible Depths, or These Terrible Depths, sorry. There, nice disc actually in the tray. Have to actually get it and have a copy in my collection to listen to while I'm out and about. And I was out and about today and I did listen to it, but yeah, it was really good. But before I get on to my little mini review about it, let's see what else they threw in here. Alright, one thing they did throw in was just a note basically saying that they apologize for the mishap and that they felt it would be appropriate to throw in some extra bonuses and make sure there was actually a CD in the CD case this time, and that they hope that I like the album. And this came from Woody Corsini from Split the Abyss. So cheers, Woody, appreciate that. Woody is the drummer from Split the Abyss. So also included in this package is a can koozie to keep your drinks nice and cool. A beer koozie, I guess. Of course, if you're a thrasher, you're probably into beer too, so perfect. Perfect! Alright, really cool. I'm definitely going to be using that. Next are there's some ASMR of what's going to be coming, if I can get them out. This is a pin button. This color actually came from the Otaku of Doom EP that came out in 2015. So cool colors. Really dig the logo. And the second button, that I'm pretty sure that logo color was inspired by the self-titled Split the Abyss album that came out in 2014. So there we go. So we got the EP and the self-titled album. The self-titled album is their second album, by the way. Their first one was called With Savage Intent that came out in 2013. And the last thing in this unboxing, unpackaging, whatever, is a nice patch. Pretty decent size too. Covers my palm and will be a excellent addition to my thrash vest. I still have lots of space that needs to be covered up in the back for sure, so I'll be wearing this with pride. Cheers to Split the Abyss for throwing in these extras. Now, let's talk about how I felt about this album just really quickly. The other members of Split the Abyss are Max Kessler on vocals and rhythm guitar, and Matthew Hamlin on bass. So yeah, if you did like their third album, These Terrible Depths, they do have two other albums and an EP to pick up, but this one in particular I listened to a few times, one while I was out, one with a good pair of solid stereo headphones on to really soak in everything that was going on. And I gotta say, it was a pretty good album overall. The vocals had some of these kind of guttural style thrash vocals, not your normal Hetfield or Mustaine wannabe type of vocals, that's for sure. Very maniacal at some points. They had a very consistent delivery throughout the whole album. No kind of changes in quality here and there, or kind of vocal straining or obvious vocal straining, anything like that. So good delivery. At times there was even some blackened styles going on with the vocals. Not full black metal, but definitely started to get a little blackened and definitely sounded slightly necro here and there. As for the guitar, there is loads of solos going on in this album. Lots of nice chunky style thrash riffs, and of course the very kind of progressive, technical, speedy thrash riffs here and there, with the odd kind of quick dip into a melodic composition here and there as well. So there's a little bit of differentiation going throughout these tracks when it comes to the riffs. As for the bass, from what I could hear, it was very low, very clunky, might have had some kind of crispy gain going on. It definitely added to the overall bass boost to the whole album in general for sure though. If you hear this thing, you'll definitely notice that this is a lot bassier than most thrash albums. The drums had a solid kick drum for this. It was very punchy. And speaking of the kick drum, there's a lot of double bass going on, quite a bit of blast beats, and some decent little tings and tangs here and there, little accents going on with the ride and stuff like that. Some pretty decent fills. So the drummer is definitely very talented in this. Kudos to the drummer, aka Woody, who sent me this package. As for my favorite tracks on this, I would have to say they are Schizophrenic Nightmare. Very, very catchy, very memorable type of chorus. Definitely one of the most outstanding tracks on this album. Another one is track 5, Crawling into Armageddon. And this one was the one that had those almost Black Death feel to it. Same with the vocals, almost got into slightly blackened thrash vocals going on here and there. It was a pretty pleasant, unexpected switch up and spice added. And then track number 7, These Terrible Depths, had a pretty good chorus, I gotta say. At some points it seemed dark, at some points it seemed like they would have a lot of fun playing this track live. Let me know in the comment section if that's how this is, but it definitely feels like one of those tracks you'd have a lot of fun playing live. So yeah, Schizophrenic Nightmare, Crawling into Armageddon, and These Terrible Depths, the self-titled track off of this album, were definitely the 3 outstanding tracks. And the other tracks were definitely good as well, but they all could have been interchanged here and there on the album, and I might not have noticed the difference. My overall thoughts on this album is that, once again, it's not your typical mid-tone and treble-heavy thrash album. They definitely added some more bass elements. Not that the bass shined through over top of anything else, but it was definitely a lower-tuned album and more darker production for sure. And with that came a little bit more of a heavier production than most thrash as well. The sound that this had could have certainly came out around the same time as Death or Obituary's first albums, or around the same time of Autopsy came out with their first albums. It had that death thrash vibe that is definitely early 90s and could have easily fit in amongst those. The only downside is to this album is that I think the vocals could have been slightly higher in the mix, and a couple of the tracks, the drum beat didn't quite match what I would have had in mind for the riff. Now, obviously the drummer is very talented, so it was probably just a stylized choice, a personal preference of what to add in those sections. I'm kind of looking specifically at the kind of middle part of River of Marnes, where the double bass is going at a certain point and then all of a sudden stops that speed and all of a sudden kind of just does like a halftime feel to it, but it doesn't sync up with the riff the way I would have imagined it to. But other than that, it was a pretty good album, and with that being said, I'm gonna have to give it an 8 out of 10. Certainly worth your time, especially if you're into that thrashing death style of music. Not a big fan of this person, but I know who would probably really enjoy this, and that would be Killbot Gorgor Attack. If you guys are watching this from Split the Abyss, maybe send him a copy, because I could definitely see this style of thrash being up their alley. But that's all you're going to hear of me talking about that YouTuber. Anyways, that's it. That's my thoughts on the Split the Abyss, These Terrible Times album. Thanks again, you guys, for sending me a replacement copy from the Metalhead box. Pretty stoked to have a copy of this in my collection now, as well as a few of the goodies. And the patch is definitely going on my thrash vest with pride. So cheers, guys. And before I go for this video, I just want to show off the new guitar that I'm financing and slowly paying off that is going to be used in the production and recording of the next couple of releases coming from me, being the Punkin' Pissed EP from Lonely Cadaver, the new Drakir album that's going to come. Not sure if I'm going to be calling it Arctic Possession or something else, maybe a little bit more wordy, because you know my Drakir releases, you know I like them to have a million characters in length for the album titles. So anyways, no more waiting here. We're going to show this thing off. All right, here we go. So the kind of guitar it is a Jackson. And I don't know what your thoughts on Jacksons are, but there we go. There's the typical Jackson style headstock with lock nuts, so you know it's got a Floyd Rose style pickup or whatever that thing is, floating bridge. And here we go. There's the reveal for the guitar itself. Nice black outline and some wavy, cool purple going on the inside there. And then the pickups, just Jackson double coils. Hopefully that's the name of them, and I don't sound like a moron, which, you know, wouldn't surprise me. But hey, yep, so this is the guitar that's going to be recording the new Lonely Cadaver EP and probably album after that, whenever I get around to it, and the new Drakir album. I'm still going to be using my 7-string Ibanez for any future Slammerella things, and another project that I might be doing with Azeg's Abyss. We will see. So yep, new Jackson, pretty fucking stoked. Need to tune it a bit and get it in shape, but yeah, hopefully we'll be recording some stuff for the Lonely Cadaver's new EP by the end of March. Cheers. And that's it for me. For Glory, for the Rebel Alliance, Slammerella out.